All right, so I got it recorded just in case Josiah says some dumb shit, some cancelable shit, but I did not mic him up because he has nothing good to say. We went over defensive stance before. So if we look in the mirror here, yeah, so kind of the way, let me make sure everything's in frame. Yeah, kind of the way that I was taught, and I've learned that in a few martial arts, anytime they go southpaw, they call it defensive stance. I have no idea why they would consider it more defensive than just a regular stance. I do believe in you learn to fight orthodox, maybe a year to 2 years, and then train yourself to fight southpaw so that when you actually start fucking training and sparring, you can seamlessly transition between the two. So for this defensive stance, it's very sideways, bladed stance in traditional martial arts. It's kind of like in Kung Fu here, and then we keep the elbow up. So this is a trapping stance. It's sideways. So if I'm too sideways, my leg and my back is exposed. It is very difficult to check kicks, especially if somebody doesn't even telegraph and they just throw it kind of like what we did last week. It's very hard to check those from this stance. The stance can be pretty good up close, but like I said, the legs are vulnerable, your back can be vulnerable, but it has its purpose. So since we have MMA gloves on, or whatever the fuck your gloves are, since we have these gloves on, we can do a lot more. When you have just boxing gloves on, the best things to do are jabs, crosses, uppercuts, and hooks. Those are the best things to do. But if you have MMA gloves on, you can apply stuff, more empty hand stuff like back fists. I don't really like use chops and stuff like that, but a lot of close quarters, open hand type of striking. So that's the beauty with the MMA gloves. So with this trapping, it comes from Kung Fu. Trapping has been around forever. So in Wing Chun, they actually do it from a square stance. And then the trap, they'll use this. So they'll trap with the arm, they'll go over, trap here, and they'll throw their hit, boom, like that. And then Wing Chun has origins in Shaolin. So Kung Fu before that, they did trapping. So trapping is very popular. Silat does trapping. So obviously it has a purpose, especially when we don't have big gloves on. So for the sake of drilling, we can start in this stance. We have this parry block, kind of like almost like a Philly shell, but different purpose. Have this one out for parrying. When I actually spar somebody, maybe the first time I could actually be in this stance with this angle up. But if you get right in front of me right here, you get in that stance. So I don't like the open exposure here for the kicks. If we're the same stance, I could do the same thing there, chop leg. So that's why I would rather just be in a regular fighting stance, southpaw. And then if I want to start trapping, I can modify my guard a little bit, and then I just will parry by elbowing it up, rather than making it obvious. And let's say if I teach this to you guys, you will always associate this stance with a set of techniques. So that means if we spar and then you go to that stance, you're like, well, he's just gonna do one of those. It makes it a little too obvious. So, but that's it. So we use our elbow to parry. I was taught sink your waist with your elbow when you're parrying, but a lot of times fighting is fast and messy, and I just use my arm. Almost as if you're just elbowing, using the elbow as your parries. And then we utilize the out block, which is a common block in traditional martial arts. So if you get here again, let's just say we're both southpaw. If you throw your jab, the out block's on the outside. You don't see it too much on combat sports, but it's the same concept. I'm getting off the line of attack. So if you throw a jab and I slip, I'm out of the line of attack. Parry, I can parry and slip, and then out block. So now from here, I have the strike here, and I have the strike to your face. So we can utilize the out block. So we can even practice it where you're throwing your jab, hit my head, he's hitting my head, boom, out block. I can step with the out block, I can move, and then I can play with gripping with the out block too. It's a little messy when you play with gripping, but we can still practice it with the grip. Why would we want to grip? Hit, I mean, if we're really good, we can try a lock or something, but honestly, just practice the grip for hitting and then even going up. I actually saw Sanchai do that to somebody where he grabbed the glove and then he uppercutted his opponent. So that's kind of the idea. So practice the out block. So don't think of it as shooting out, just think of it as kind of turning your angle. Yeah, do it from a regular stance. So you're going on the outside. Boom, like that. Boom. Bye. Yeah, like that. And we're kind of moving a little bit. Boom. Bye. Shoom. Now play with that grip. So kind of claw down. Boom. But claw down more on my wrist. Shoom. Yeah, like that. And then you can throw your punch. Yes, like that. Nice.
So you almost have to stand like this. If I stand like this, I can't do that.
It's easier. If I'm just here, I just turn it.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
That's all it is. Get more over here. Moving around.
What's my face up?
Yeah, like that. Boom, just like that. Okay? So that's kind of where the out block comes. So from this defensive stance, we go into an out block after we parry. We go into the out block, and then we add traps. And that's where the hit comes. So this is where we start getting it. So these sets of techniques work when you're opposite stance with somebody. So you're orthodox, I'm southpaw. And just as if maybe you threw a jab and I get off the line of attack, maybe I throw a leg kick, or you throw a cross, and then I get off the line of attack too, or maybe you throw a cross, I step out, you throw a jab, I step out. Every concept in martial arts is you get outside of that range. Obviously, if you throw a 1-2, I can block like this way, it's simple blocking. Sometimes we have to do it, or I can catch a kick this way. But for this, the sake of these drills, we're getting outside of that range. So when you throw your jab, you can either parry on the outside, which I like to do. My elbow's parrying on the outside. And then when the cross comes, I do the out block. Then I do my trap. And the way that I was taught, you slid in with the same leg to throw the strike. So I go ba, ba, same leg, so the strike. And we did it like a chain punch, but you can change it to a cross as well. So we go boom, boom, boom. And then the trap, I trap his tricep. Okay? So another way is if I'm a little bit more on the inside of him. So see how his feet's here and my foot's here. So if I'm more on the inside, he throws a jab, I can go on the inside of him, and when he throws the cross, I stay on the inside of that cross. I could hit there, that's another technique, or I could do that same out block to trap. But that one's a little more sneaky. Like it is very, if people have a tight 1-2, it's hard to get on the inside of those. I find it easier to stay on the outside of the punches and then throw the trap. Okay? Let's say if he is same stance as me, we can actually change something. So if you throw the jab, I can parry it on the inside and I could go straight to this out block, okay? If I want to make it faster because it's just a jab, I go straight to the out block and then the trap and then hit. So you go, you throw it, ba, ba, hit, okay? What I like about being here is that I can sweep and I can hit here. So I'm kind of on the outside. Or if we switch stance and he throws the jab cross, ba, 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 I can get here, but I still feel like it's harder, it would be harder to grapple him, clinch him, grab him. I would have to do like a double leg or something. Okay? So the first one we'll do is we will go, and your left side forward, right? You're gonna throw a jab, cross, and then we just work on that strike. So the job of the uke or your partner is when he throws it, at first, he kind of gives it to you a little bit. So that means he works on his technique, we flow, and then I throw the punch. Boom. Maybe I vary it. Boom. So his job is just to keep these punches nice and clean. Then his job is to add a little bit more speed a little bit more of a light tempo, and then we always make sure he's aiming for my head. So we do a little of that, just a ba, 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 1, 2, boom, bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, boom. Okay, so we start adding that, and then sometimes when you're the partner and you're just throwing it a lot, and you're used to them doing the technique, you don't want to retract the punch. And I will say that some of these techniques, for example, let's say if he throws a jab, and I trap it, and then I try to hit him, it's much more effective to do that trap on a jab, which is probably the fastest move in martial arts, when they do a stiff jab where they step in and they try to dart in with that jab. If he does that, I can really do it. But if he just flicks, I have to be like careful, because if you just flick it and a boom, and then the right hand can come. So you got to be smart with it. I have seen people do it where it's a flick jab and they caught it. Good for them on the timing. But I like it better if somebody's throwing a stiff jab and hitting. Okay? So first technique, he throws jab cross, ba, ba, I trap, and then I throw the punch. We move around. Now it's more live. Now he's going to throw faster. Retract across. And we add more. So now I work with him. He's in his defensive stance. We start slow. I throw just a jab. He works on parrying the jab. And then now slow 1, 2. So use your forearm. Try not to trap too much with your hand. Ba, ba. Trap with that hand. Then punch. Yes. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba. Try to, you move to the side, but try to get closer to me as you're throwing this. Okay? Ba. Yeah, boom. And you see if you're very close, the elbow's there. So, ba, oh, ba, boom. Bye, bye. And that's good, because that one I was retracting the punch.
My aiming point.
You're hitting it more here. So if you throw the jab, this is my strike. I'm not elbowing, like elbowing. Okay? So, there. Make sure you parry it. So you're kind of having it out too much to where you're having to really bring it around. Just keep it in front of you. Yeah. See? You just move like an inch. Yeah. So boom, 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 boom. And then clamp down on my tricep. So ba, ba, boom. Bye, bye. Bye, bye. Nice. So those are good, because even if I wanted to throw, there's that. So let's say we're the same stance and we want to do, so go southpaw. So the way that I would do it is I would use this technique where I outblock, ba, and then from there, if we want to work on Hapkido, you get to outblock and then chop down. So we switch stance. Outblock, chop down. This one takes such good timing, and it's with a stiff punch. If he does a flicker jab, he pulls it, it's just not gonna work. He's gotta really commit to it, and then I go down. This one's hard to pull off, but you can do stuff. What's probably better is that you do outblock, boom. You can trap and hit. He does it again. Snap it back. So even if he snaps it, it's fast enough where it just slap, slap, boom. Or you could just cheat it, where he throws it. As soon as I go here, even if he's snapping it back, I slide in with my front foot and I go for the sweep. Okay? So he goes it, I go boom, and I go in for the sweep. So I just go here to block myself as I go in for the sweep. Okay?
Can you do a double leg from there too?
It wouldn't be, you can do a double leg anytime, obviously, but it just, You could do it off of a jab, but you're not using the concept of like getting to the outside.
What if you take my back? Is that a thing?
I can do this, boom,
Yeah.
and then take your back. But you just have to kind of know what you're doing. So if I go here, boom, I use it in, I go in here, small trip, boom, then I got the trip. So I could do that. I could try to slip through it. This is another option and grab here. But you have to just have a really good slip because one arm's going out.
Yeah.
It's almost as if I'm like hooking and then doing the trip from there. I go boom, trip from here. Shoom, shoom. Shoom. Yeah, like that. Even if the jab's going back, I'm still here for the trip. So it doesn't require like
But the
this
steps important.
yes,
Because
and
don't step in,
and you can do it off a slip as well. It's just a little bit, it's almost like if you throw a jab, I slip it and I kind of go for a clinch. It's kind of that motion for the trip. Does that make sense? Yeah, slip my jab real quick and then go in for it. Yeah, so shoom.
I'm going for this.
Yeah,
I feel like I would have to step on the outside. So
shoom. You have to do that at any ways to trip. Yeah. So that's sort of the idea. So the way I learn the techniques is if I'm here, we're opposite stance. So we're opposite stance. So when he throws the jab, well, I have this one where I can hit 1, 2, and I use these traps right here. These are really good, or hit inside and then hit inside. That one's a lot harder because you're hitting on the inside. But these are kind of all the techniques behind it. I could step in, throw a punch, or I can maintain the stance, throw the punch. We can mess with the out block where I can go from here and then I can do the sweeps. So those are some of the ideas with traditional martial arts moves, empty hand moves that you could do now that you have smaller gloves and we're not so limited to just the 6 punches, and you implement it all. I could do the trap, sweep, and then add it into whatever I'm doing. How's that? Did you learn something?